Let's dive right in today to a case study of an individual who gained 15 pounds right after graduating college. This person was 5'4" and usually about 130 to 135 pounds. And then right after college, she found herself up at about 150. And this really worried her. So what did she do? She did what most people do and downloaded MyFitnessPal and was like, you know what? I'm going to start tracking my food. So she plugged in all of her information to MyFitnessPal, and of course, what did it tell her? That in order to lose weight, she should eat at 1,200 calories per day. So she goes ahead and she does that. She eats 1,200 calories per day, and initially she loses about 5 pounds of that weight that she had gained. And she's like, okay, yeah, maybe this does work. But she was noticing that she was hungry all the time, and she's like, you know what? That'll get better. I'm just gonna stick with it. Eventually though, after losing that 5 pounds, her weight doesn't continue to go down, and she's like, okay, well, what now? Do I go even lower? So then she started to try to get under 1,200 calories and would some days only hit 1,000 calories per day. And weight was still sort of staying the same. I mean, it went down 2 pounds, but then came back up that 2 pounds, and she was getting really frustrated. Now, exercise-wise, this person was exercising every single day of the week for about an hour and a half. She would take a rest day, but only very occasionally, to the point where chances are she was only having 1, maybe 2 rest days per month, because she wouldn't give herself one every week. And at this point, she's like, what do I do? I can't go lower with food. I'm frustrated. So that's why she comes in to see us. And by the time she comes in to see us, she's still only eating about 1,100 to 1,300 calories per day and still doing that same exercise routine of 7 days a week for an hour and a half with very few rest days throughout the month. Let's take a look at her initial metabolic test. So here's this person's initial metabolic test results, and as you can see, that resting metabolic rate is super low. It had come down all the way to 989 calories when her resting metabolic rate should have been at 1,390 or higher. What we also see is that her protein metabolism, or breakdown of lean mass muscle, is 10.6% above that normal range. So what all of this means here is because this person was under fueling her body and over exercising, her body started to compensate. And how the body compensates is by beginning to chip away at lean mass so that it can get those extra calories and bring down that metabolism, because it doesn't want to consistently be burning more than it's being given. It's sort of a cool genetic thing that happens in the sense that your body is going to try to keep you alive, and that's exactly what was happening here. But we don't want it to stay this way, because we don't want to force the body to continue to compensate in this way. This is going to result in a really low lean mass, which could then impact bone health and immunity and longevity. And this low metabolic rate is going to make this person feel tired, bloated, poor energy during exercise, all of those things. And she was already starting to experience those side effects. So what did we do here? We of course ramped up her intake. We started off with her taking in more like 1,800 calories per day instead of 1,100 to 1,300. And we told her that she needed to take at least 1 rest day per week. What she ended up doing is taking 1 rest day per week, but then some weeks it was 2. It just sort of depended on her schedule. So in doing that, she noticed a huge improvement in her energy levels. She wasn't craving carbs and sweets. Her performance level during workouts was much better. Let's take a look at how it impacted her metabolism when we redid this test about 8 months later. Take a look at this new metabolic test. Her resting metabolic rate is now all the way up at 1,667, which is amazing. That means the body's functioning the way that we want it to, and that metabolism is now burning the food that it should be because it's getting in enough every day. And then that protein metabolism, or breakdown of muscle, is normal. The body is no longer chipping away at muscle mass, which is a great thing. This is what we would call a corrected metabolic test. So then, of course, I always get the question, well, what happened to her weight? At first, she actually gained a little bit of weight. She gained about 5 or 6 pounds, and then it actually came back down. So if you remember, when she first came in, her weight was around 145 after, gaining some, losing a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And then by the end of our time together, her weight was about 140. So she didn't get back down to where she was when she was in college, and that's okay because bodies change. but she had a higher muscle mass, a little bit lower fat mass than where we started, and her body was functioning exponentially better. She felt better. She wasn't hungry all the time. And most importantly, she wasn't obsessing over food, her body, exercise, and she was able to sort of go on, live her life, and not have these obsessions around all of this different stuff as it pertains to health. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe.